Welcome to this Hobby of Hours. I am your host D, and we are back on the workbench today. Gosh, seems like we haven't had a workbench edition in forever and a day. I think I need to turn my attention back to the bench and certainly have an episode worth sharing today, if for no other reason than I went on the internet trying to find an episode to help me solve this. Couldn't find one, so thankfully, Countycom, the titanium armorer's hammer, and this hole punch type, not really hole punch, but pin pusher type thing, helped me resize my lejour bracelet. Oh my gosh. All right, let's check it out. So to be sure, this bracelet it's not great. It's borderline crap, considering how otherwise excellent the watch itself is. I featured this watch, the lejour, which is more or less a Heuer Pasadena. Heuer licensed his designs to other manufacturers, and I included this watch in my video about Porsche Design alternates. It is an absolutely fabulous watch. The bracelet is garbage, but we're going to fix that today. And as much as I'm going to have to resize it, and I had so much trouble, because if you see this bracelet, it's got flat links, and there's no real indication how to get a pin pusher, there's certainly not screws in there, out. So I had to do it the old-fashioned way and hammer it, and thanks be to God I didn't break it, but I did jar it out enough loose so I could discern the actual mechanics of what's going on in the inside. And I'm gonna do it, we're gonna switch perspectives and do the zoom down, zoom in, and get up in its business in a minute. But just wanted to say, gosh, this lejour, I am so impressed with how good it is, considering this was a lower end tribute of sorts back in the day. It's a great little watch. It's got the Valjoux 7750 in it, which is a workhorse movement to be sure, but I'm just impressed with the overall build quality of the piece itself, minus this this bracelet. Gosh, if you can't get a Porsche Design, or if it's cost prohibitive for you, I gotta be honest, the lejour is legit. But that's not what today's episode is about. Today is an episode for anyone out there in watchdom who is in possession of one of these 3-link bracelets and can't figure out how to size it. We're going to flip the script here, turn it upside down, and we're going to show you how to do that. We are on the workbench proper. I've got a bunch of watch tools, and it's a good thing I did, because I was pulling out all the stops on this one. The funny thing about this bracelet and what I'm going to call flat link bracelet style links in general is they can be a chore. We usually encounter these in Seiko watches and usually on the lower price spectrum. I ultimately solved this issue by banging out one of the links the hard way, and thankfully, thanks be to God, I didn't destroy the bracelet. It's not that I was getting frustrated, it's that I was trying to apply some pressure and it wasn't working, and that I just kept ding, 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 and it worked itself loose. So thank you to this pin pusher and the Countycom.com titanium hammer. And ultimately, I want to try and replicate this for someone. I tried using a safety pin, did not work. It was too thick to get into the hole to relieve the shoulderless spring bar, I'll show you in a moment, which is the thing, the mechanism responsible for holding this bracelet in place. And it was ultimately one of the parts from the Minotaur. Minotaur. That did it. The Minotaur, if you've seen that video, is a now no longer available Swiss Army knife that was a collaboration between Bergion and Wenger. Has a bunch of watch tools in here. You can still find these on the eBay. Don't pay more than $400 for one of these. They're going quite high. Sometimes they're branded with a watch name on here. I picked this up years ago for like $200, $250. I think that's a worthy price. but you can't seem to find them any cheaper. The part inside here that I used is called a reamer. Now it is unduly long for the purpose, but it is firm enough, if not a little bit too bendy, and very, very thin. It is 0.55 millimeters thick, which is what allowed me to get the job done to replicate this. I suspect that perhaps, one of the pins that you get when you buy a new dress shirt might be thin enough to accomplish it. I just, I haven't bought a dress shirt in a while, so I don't have any of those pins handy. What I can say is you need a piece of metal that is, come on, focus, gosh, super duper thin to get up in here. Because what is keeping these links in place, if I can get it to focus, is this really rather small, shoulderless spring bar, which is a very strange thing to be used in keeping a bracelet link in place. Now, while I am not a fan of these bracelets, they do give you a very large latitude of up to roughly an inch of micro adjustments. But at a certain point, you want to be able to take a link out. On one side of them, you will have, come on, focus, these fixed link ones, and then you'll have ones that have an itty bitty hole, dot dot, right there and there. And then on the other side, same deal. This is the filled side. Okay, there's only one here. Okay, so there's one there. Come on, focus. And so you'll see that you need something that is going to fit through that hole. Now this will actually go past the shoulderless spring bar because it's so thin, so something a little bit thicker might do the trick for you. But the weird thing is, let's see, we got it here. You need to get in there through the link, alleviate, come on, focus, alleviate the pressure of it, and then this bracelet has got so much wiggle, you need to dip it in order to get it off center. What does that look like in application? Right in the hole there. Well, this worked off camera twice. It is not working on camera at all now. And I don't want to break this little thing, nor do I want to break another one of these spring bars, because this thing is so old. This one, when it came out, it broke. So we're going to call it right there. It's not stable enough. I think maybe if I cut this down to here, this tip would be able to be functional, but I just don't want to damage the tool because it's not meant for that. So I've got one of these teeth cleaner tools, TP. I should probably trim off these bristles, but let's give this a shot live and see if this works. All right, come on. Also not working. So you need something firm enough that is damaged, firm enough that is thin enough to get in there and do the business. Oh, that did it. It did it. The orange one did it. All right, so that's a copperish wire in there. Gotta be very careful with this because I don't want to damage the spring bar. And boom, done. Thank you. Who makes these? TP, Oral-B? All right. TP to the rescue. The orange one did the trick. Hilarious. I'm sorry, lejour. This is a terrible design, man. Well, bam. I suddenly remembered as I was recording this episode why I don't like to do these episodes. having to work with my fingers and up close and everything without glasses or with magnifying glasses is trouble enough, let alone trying to film it. But I had to do this one. I didn't do this for me, I did this for you, I did this for us. I wanted this video to be out there because ever since I bought this watch, I haven't really worn the bracelet properly because I couldn't get it sized right. It always felt weird, and I tried it once, tried it again, didn't work, but saw to it tonight. And you know, sometimes it's proof positive. You got to bang something with a hammer in order to get it to work right, or just pull out your little oral hygiene tools and get up in there. So I hope you found this little episode useful to you. If you did, let me know in the comments below. I'm wondering how many people out there have been rocking their lejour pseudo Top Gun watches without having proper fitment. But now you certainly can. All right. Hope you enjoyed this little episode, this little tour de force of the workbench, and that wherever you are on this wonderful, beautiful hobby of ours, you are blessed. We will catch you in the next one. Peace. Boom. Pick up a book. 1001 Watch Designs, Volume 1. We've got line art, oil paintings, steampunk, and even super duper realistic ones. Ones that you could probably put on your wrist today. It's a good bit of fun and a great way to share your support. Thanks for coming along on the ride.